I've reviewed over 5,000 resumes, and I can count on one hand the number of truly great resumes that I've seen. And honestly, yours probably is not one of them. But here's the thing. It's not your fault. You've done everything right. Everything that you're supposed to do, but you were following the wrong rules. Rules that were made 5 years ago and today do more harm than good. For instance, we had a client. He had submitted over 300 applications and he heard nothing. Crickets. No interviews, even though he was basically the perfect candidate. And he thought his resume was perfect. He ran it through JobScan, it got 100, and he optimized it for the ATS system. So my team took it and we fixed 5 key things. And then after 2 weeks, he got 19 interviews, one of which led to his second job. So here are the 5 rules that you can follow to build a resume that actually gets interviews. And let's start with the worst problem of them all. There is a pervasive lie. You have probably heard it over and over again. And actually, I have spread it myself, sorry. And it involves 3 letters. ATS. You've heard of it and you're probably optimizing around it. But now that I own a recruiting company, I can see behind the curtain and I got access to all the major ATSs that companies use. And they're not what most people think they are. There is no Terminator-like robot that's hunting down your resume and killing your application. The only thing that actually kills your application are the initial questions, the radio button type questions in the beginning of an application. For instance, are you authorized to work in the US? Do you need a visa? How many years of experience do you have? Those questions will generally get you screened out. But if you make it past those questions, there's no scanning system that is judging you and killing your application. It doesn't exist, at least not yet. What is actually happening is a slightly advanced keyword matching system. When a hiring manager sets up a job, they have specific criteria that they're looking for, and essentially the ATS just gives you a grade. The highest grades show up at the top and the lowest at the bottom. And if you've sent out a couple hundred applications and you haven't heard back, your resume is probably bad. But the good thing is we can fix it. For starters, we need to think of our resume as a marketing document. You have 1 page, maybe 2, to sell yourself to a potential job, meaning that every single character counts, particularly at the top of your resume. And when people only think about the ATS system and over-optimizing for keywords, you end up getting things like this. If you were hiring for a job, you open up someone's resume and that's what you see, would you keep reading? It's the equivalent of me making a YouTube title like this. And the main issue, and the thing that we forget, is that a human will read your resume. It is a prerequisite for you getting an interview that a human with their 2 eyeballs will scan over the document. And when they see this, straight to the bin. And this goes for the whole resume. We are not keyword spamming anymore because it makes the resume entirely unreadable. Sure, it may rank high on a job scan, but it ranks very low in terms of human readability. That doesn't mean that we're not going to add keywords. There's just more tactical ways that we're going to go about doing it. And we'll talk about that in a second. For now, we need to make sure that hiring managers are actually making it into the meat of your resume. We can do that with a very simple tactic. So when a recruiter opens your resume, they are looking for 3 things. How many years of experience do you have? What were the main job titles that you had in the past? And 3, what are your skills? Now, a good resume will have all of those things, but a great resume will front load them. You can do that very simply with the summary section. It is the most powerful part of the resume, and if done correctly, it will make it hard for a hiring manager not to continue on reading it. Now remember, on average, a human will look at your resume for 7 seconds, and the only thing that we can guarantee that they will read is the top. So at the top, we want 1 to 2 sentences that spoon feeds them all the information that they are looking for. This is not the place to pack in keywords. Don't overdo it. Nobody is a specialist at 9 things. Keep it simple. We want everything they want and nothing they don't. And an easy way to do that is through tailoring our resume, which doesn't have to be an hour-long ordeal. It can take a minute or less, which we'll go through in rule number 5. And by the way, I'm starting a new content series, roasting people's resumes. And as a token of thanks, if you give me a resume to roast, I will give you the resume template that we've used for all of our clients. Check it out. Moving down the resume, After the summary section, we want to go right into our job experience. Education does not go at the top unless you are a recent grad, and that is the most important thing. Now again, a prerequisite for getting an interview is that a human will read your resume. But a lot of us, when we write our experiences, there's no context, we're using acronyms, and it all assumes that the reader knows what the company does that you worked for, they know the acronyms, and they know what the team within the business actually did. We can't assume any of that, because you know what assumptions make an ass out of you and me. For instance, entries like this. And basically, we forget the bigger picture. We need to frame this experience as to why it would be important and how it is relevant for this future job that we are trying to get. So what we have found immense success with was a single line that summarizes the job that we did and why it's important. So under every experience, before going into the bullet points of the nitty-gritty of what we did, we give a high-level overview. Who are you working for? What is it doing? How big is the team? What product is it? Basically, we want to fill the gaps and get rid of any assumptions that people have before reading onto what we actually did. And then when a hiring manager is reading through the bullet points, they can actually paint a picture in their head because they have the context. Basically, we are making it easy for someone to read the resume. And again, another way we make it easy is by not keyword spamming. But the problem is that we still need keywords. The ATS system isn't killing our application, but if we're ranking at the bottom because we didn't use any keywords, our application might not get seen. So what we can do is use instead of writing bullet points like this or summary sections like this, instead we're going to have intentional places where we have keywords that don't interrupt the flow of the resume. For instance, for tech roles, we love to add a tech stack as the bottom bullet point, which just lays out every system that you used so that you don't need to cram in 4 of them into each bullet point. And if it's not a tech specific role, then we tend to use key results. And this is basically just pulling out whatever the most important thing we did. Basically, how can we quantify the work that we did? Did it save time? Did it make money? Did we win an award? Now, these alone can make people read more of your bullet points. If they see the key result, they're interested in it, then maybe they want to dig through the bullet points a little bit more. Now, another thing we do is breaking up the skills section into multiple parts. Instead of it just being one gigantic paragraph, we can have 3 or 4 different sections that can capture all of the different keywords that might be needed or that we might have missed. And also, when we're setting up a resume like this, it makes it easier to tailor the resume because we're confining all the things that we need to change per job into very specific places. Meaning, instead of having a catch-all resume where we need to rewrite the entire thing for each job, we can just rewrite 3 specific sections. We know resume tailoring is important. If you don't, it is. I'm not gonna beat that dog with a dead horse.
What the dog doing?
But I think most people go about it in the wrong way. If it takes you more than 2 minutes to tailor your resume, you're doing something wrong. Because the name of the game really, when we are applying nowadays, is volume. Getting as many applications out the door as possible. Because when every job has 500 people who apply to it, you can go one of 2 ways. One, you can work your network. You can build a personal connection with the hiring manager, and that will give you a greater chance of landing the job. But let's be honest, you don't talk to anyone, and networking is a special level of hell. And even if you are pro-social, you're going out to all these networking dinners, it's kind of like dating. You want to meet someone in the wild, have your meet cute story that you can tell all your family members, but how many people do you actually talk to? I'm gonna take a guess. So if we're not gonna go the networking route, then we need to up the volume. I'm gonna say this until the day I die. To get a job nowadays, we should be targeting 1,000 applications. It's absurd, I know, but you can make it easier by optimizing for one thing, not the ATS system, the TPA. You've heard it here first, the time per apply. If it takes you 15 minutes to send each application, we're talking about 250 hours to get a job. Good luck doing that while working your 9 to 5. The gold standard for our appliers within our company is 2 minutes per application, and that includes tailoring the resume. So how do we do it? Again, targeting 3 specific sections. The main thing is the summary section. We tweak the job title and then the primary skills based on the job description. And then after that, we're tweaking our keyword farms, whether that be the tech stack, if it's a tech job, or the skills section. We remove the ones that aren't in the job description, then we're adding in the ones that are. And then number 3, maybe we tweak the job titles if it is synonymous to the one that was used in the job description. For instance, software developer versus software engineer, marketing analyst, marketing coordinator. Again, it's a marketing document. If it is functionally the same job, just tweak the job title. Now, if all of this sounds like too much for you, and you'd rather just sit back and have interviews delivered straight to your calendar, check out jumpseatjobs.com. We're a reverse recruiting service that sends applications on your behalf. They're not AI applications. I've tested all the major AI appliers, and they're all dog shit. Now, if you were to do one thing from this video, reread your resume. Would a human actually want to read it? Stop optimizing for robots, because hiring is human.